Short term love. Short term love. A lot of men are being manipulated because of the manosphere space where guys are encouraged to have multiple sexual partners because part of manhood is apparently defined by your ability to get girls. Now, don't get me wrong. Back in the day when I was growing up, for me, part of that player lifestyle, we knew some cats that was players and everything else. I myself wasn't a player, but I was privileged in the fact that I didn't have to struggle to get women. I never had problems getting girls. You know what I mean? But it's not something I stand on. I'm like, look at the evidence. Look at me getting numbers. That's not the defining component to my character. I believe that the Most High is blessed me with understanding, knowledge, and wisdom, and understanding, like in terms of life and so forth. And somebody who's traveled quite extensively, look at life in a very different light. I don't think I score men on a higher scale based on how many people they sleep with. It's not hard when you understand the basics of sleep with a person, and it's not advantageous as far as I'm concerned. To it's not advantageous for men to be sleeping around. But short term love is what happens when men, let's say they get a glow up, they got some money now, and they're so conditioned. Let's say especially they got jaded. Let's say they got done dirty by somebody they loved, and things went way bad, and now they're being seen by ladies, and they start to just basically screw around. And this is the part where I remember listening to a podcast. I believe the man was Fresh and Fit. That was a platform, and they were saying, yeah, get your girls, get money and screw them hoes and everything else. So I believe that that's very short term love, because what happens is if you start getting regular sex from ladies, okay, the baddies and so forth, because unfortunately society is women don't know that most beautiful women are for sale. Okay, most beautiful women, they want a certain lifestyle. So if you got the bag like that, they're available. So when you reach a certain threshold of money, of income, women that are attractive are available. So most Instagram baddies are for sale. You hear about them doing heinous things like going to the Middle East and getting crapped on in the mouth just for money. So now there's ones that are not traveling to the Middle East that are available for $100, for $500, for $1,000. So unfortunately, as much as feminism has come a long way for women, women are there's I would call it, because of social media. There's a lot more hoes than there's ever been in this world. Because even housewives these days is hoes. Real talk. Housewives are envying Cardi B, they're envying Glorilla, they're envying Nicki Minaj, they're envying Sukiana, and they want to do them things that them girls do, because social media got women, because women are very much like a hive-minded creatures, people. They're hive-minded. So they look at what their favorite celebrities doing with the Beyonces, the Rihannas, and everything else, and they want to be a part of that. So now it's almost like, and I'm being careful on purpose here, almost like every girl's a hoe. Yes, of course, there's a percentage of those who are not. We know that. But the majority of it, if they're not doing it, they can't wait to do it. And it don't help when people follow people like Shira Stevens. Okay? She's not teaching virtuous qualities. So the women that are countering this behavior are very few. Yeah, there's a few that just jump on and say, look, it's not like that. It's not good for you long term. But a lot of ladies don't mind having a baby out of wedlock. A lot of ladies be like, okay, I'm going to be screwing until I find a man. You look at the Kendra G platform. These are the platforms where women lean towards. When was the last time you had sex? Oh, last night. But I'm looking for a man. And it's funny enough, men can screw around everything that move, but they will not marry it. They want somebody that they feel like they can build a legacy with. And with this DNA thing that's going on, you find out your woman is not your woman, divorce courts and everything else. Most men will not marry because it's just not advantageous. It's an ugly, it's an ugly thing to be apart. Marriage is not something that's good for men these days. And on top of that, it don't help that we have a lot of stories of ladies talk about how they took the man to the cleaners after marrying him. He was a good man, but he was just not, he was just not doing it. So now, a man being good is bad and toxic. So what's occurring? The point I'm trying to make in this thing is that the culture of men, because I'm looking at men, of screwing around. It's not short term love. It makes men not being able to be good in long term relationships. He just wants to get his knob wet, and that's all he wants to do. And when he does, let's say, meet a rare candidate who wants to be in a relationship with him for real, he cannot see that because he just wants to have sex and he don't trust nobody. So a lot of men, y'all been coached to believe that sex is the end all be all, but I think that there's a certain level to it. I believe the level that's more righteous and wholesome is where you can just be celibate and solo for real and avoid these broads for the most part. I avoid them because a lot of them cannot be single. And if they're reaching out to you single, they trust and believe there's usually an ex, a baby daddy, somebody in the background, especially if she's attractive. And as men, we go for attractive women. Unfortunately, we do. We want aesthetics need to look a certain way before you look at the heart. That's just the way it is. That's how we design. So now, when you coach to believe that sex is everything, you get addicted to it. You're always about that sex. And if you get really addicted, every week you gotta have somebody new. Every week you got somebody. Every month you got to change, and that's not a good way to be. I don't promote that lifestyle. I rather men became a bit more monk than men sleeping around. So the whole platforms of get girls, I don't think that's good advice for me. There's so much value when a man is, because all that sexual energy you're giving to a woman, she's taking away that power of yours. You may be like, I got that baddie, she's Instagram baddie. No, 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 sir. Please put the dick down. Put the dick down. Focus on, read some books, read the word, look at the history of where we come from, look at your food that you're eating, study something, grow, get your mind right. Those things you cannot be undone, even in your old age. When you age, because we all gonna age. You could be 22 now, you could be 19 now, but you're not gonna stay that way. And some of us are a lot older already. Get that mind right, get the focus on, and then, so if you get somebody who's on your page, then make sure you vet them and let them be part of your life to some extent. But this whole screwing around, it's it's bad. It's another way of keeping men down. You cannot be great and be effing around. You cannot be great and be effing around. This whole idea of just, and then if you get a baby, now you got child support, you got stress. You don't need that type of stress. You don't want to be on that type of program with women that you didn't verify properly. Because the problem is, as a man, when you initially get with a woman, you're not looking at her character as a mother. You're not looking at her motherly attributes. You're looking at her hips, her ass, everything. So now when shit goes bad, you know, you now like, oh, I didn't know she was that mean. I didn't know she was always that mean. It's just because you got lustful and you got coached to be lustful. So men should suspend the whole program trying to get hoes. Okay? It's good to be able to get girls, but sleeping around, it ain't it. That's not it. Sleeping around is not where it's at. Intellect needs to be where it's at. Get your ass, you get your mind excited about intellect. When you learn how the world works, how to get that money, how to get land, how to move around that. That's where the power lies. People are not being taught the right things. They're being taught the wrong things. Yes, now more than ever, it's easier to get sex. I even said a lot of married women is hoes. They don't respect their marriages. So don't be rushing into a marriage. Don't be rushing into a relationship. And don't be screwing around. It's more beneficial for you to be a monk and focus on reading or learning your history of who you are as a person, how the world moves, and build accordingly.